Hello, it is the night before. No, it's not the night before. It's Thursday. I have a lot of brain fog going on lately. Let's try that again. Hello, it's Kristen. My 11-hour event is this Saturday, and I was just getting everything ready, so I wanted to do a little pre-race report just to kind of check in and kind of say what I'm feeling and how I am and how I'm doing, which is a mix of nervous and excited and unsure. This 11-hour event was always going to be my main event that I was supposed to be training for this entire year. So it is a bit of a bummer that I didn't end up following my training really at all. So I don't know how this is going to go on Saturday. I am just going to do my best. I did end up going on Monday to get a poster board and some markers. Tien, my husband, is going to be my crew on Saturday. What I think I'm going to do is just make a fun little poster board, throw some stickers on it. Every time I complete a lap, he'll make a little tick mark on the poster board. I feel like that's going to be easier than just marking down every single mile because the entire loop for the course is 2.5 miles. I'm definitely not going to want to do math on the day of. He's an engineer, so it would be easier for him. But the day of, no one's going to want to do math, so we can do the math later. Earlier on my Twitch stream, I did a co-working session. I was able to read through the email. They sent us the email on Monday, and I was able to sit down and read through it again to figure out where exactly the campsite was. It is in a very well-populated campground in a camping area, so it's not in the middle of nowhere, so that is kind of nice. They're gonna have, the regular aid station stuff like soda, chips, candy, sandwiches. They don't mention broth, and I'm kind of hoping they do have broth because the temperatures are slowly dipping a little bit lower. They have been in like the mid 40s in the morning all the way up until like the low 60s in the afternoon. So the race day temperature, I believe, is going to start out in, I think, the high 40s, like mid to high 40s, and I think it only gets up into like the high 50s. Obviously that could change. It's still a couple days away, but obviously it's going to be a little bit chillier than it was this past weekend at the TC Marathon weekend. It would be nice if they had some broth or just a couple of warmer options because I feel like I will want those, but if they don't, that's also okay. On that same note, I was trying to think back to the first fixed time event that I ran. Granted, it was 3 years ago, and we did bring some of our own stuff. While it is nice that the event will provide your typical aid station buffet, if you will, you never really want to fully rely on it, especially if you've trained, which I didn't, I know. If you've trained with certain foods or with certain drinks, you do want to bring those yourself because, you never want to try anything new on race day. You don't know how your stomach is going to react. Some people have stomachs of steel. I do not. I'm going to be bringing some of my own stuff, but I will be utilizing the aid station table because I will be using some of the stuff that they are going to have. I am looking forward to the party atmosphere. It sounds like it's going to be a really good time. It does sound a little more relaxed than the other event that I competed in. I shouldn't say competed in, participated in, really, because I wasn't racing. And that kind of feels like the vibe for this one as well. I'm sure there are going to be a number of people that are competing in this, but it does feel like it's more of a competition against yourself rather than a competition against other people. My cat has things to say. Don't know if you heard her. She's screaming at me. It does feel like more of a laid back vibe, so that does reassure me a little bit because, again, I have zero fitness. I don't know really how it's gonna go. Something I am worried about is the fact that my left calf has been bothering me for a few weeks now. It's just been not cramping really bad, but randomly slightly cramping, so that's a little concerning. I'm hoping that doesn't happen on Saturday. And then while I was streaming just a couple hours ago, I was drinking my water and I noticed while I was swallowing my water, my throat was hurting a little bit. And normally I'm not one to panic when that happens. I was like, what's that about? that's not okay. And a lot of my friends lately have been getting sick. I know it's just a bunch of sinus stuff, especially because lately our temperature here has dropped pretty quickly. It's been in like the 70s, low 80s, and all of a sudden it's in the 40s and 50s. That's a pretty big drop pretty rapidly. So I know what it is, but I'm like, really, on today, a couple days before the race? Come on, man. I have to breathe when I run, and I'm already having trouble running. So that's not a great sign either. So two things that are slightly concerning for Saturday. We're not going to completely panic. I'm hoping that I can get in ideally as many laps as I can, that I can push myself to take as few rests as possible and not sit at our aid station for a really long time, because that is something that I did the first time around. I remember, I think it was at least twice, I took one really big rest, like a really long rest, and then a second shorter but pretty long rest, and I'd rather try to minimize that as much as possible. The event is from sunrise to sunset. It's technically 11 hours and 16 minutes, and each loop is 2.5 miles. The last 30 minutes of the event, what they're doing for that last half hour is they're going to have a quarter mile just out and back, and you'll just complete as many out and backs of that quarter mile loop as you can. You'll check in at the table every time you complete one. When the clock hits at 6:29 and you're done, that'll be your total mileage for the day. I will try to run intervals on Saturday, but thinking back to how my 5K went when I tried to run intervals that day, I'm thinking it's probably going to end up more like a fartlek. I might end up bouncing between the two. It's just going to end up how I feel and how I'm feeling as the day progresses. Hopefully I can run intervals at least at the start, and maybe once I get warmed up we can get back into intervals. Usually 2.5 miles I could complete within the hour. Maybe I could start with that, but again, as the day progresses and as I get more tired, I am coming to the realization that it might take me longer than an hour in the later hours of the day to complete each lap. It's not a realization that I really want to have. Again, my fitness is at 0. I don't like coming to the realization that I will be slower and that it may take me over an hour to walk 2.5 miles, or do a combination of running and walking 2.5 miles. But that's where I'm at. The sooner that I accept that, the sooner then we can just move on from where we are and get back to some kind of routine and some kind of beginning base fitness. And honestly, it's okay. I think I'm just comparing it to my past self and what I used to be able to do, and that's where I'm coming from, and that's not what I need to do right now. What I used to be able to do and what I've done in the past is not what I can do right now, and that's something that I need to accept, and it's something that I've semi-accepted, I think, in the back of my mind. Come Saturday, I'm going to have to accept it because it's gonna be at the forefront of everything. So we'll get there eventually, but we may get there the hard way. My goals for the event on Saturday: I would like to be able to complete a lap every single hour. So that would be technically 10 laps. 10 laps, right? Yeah. In the last half hour, they would do however many laps of that quarter mile distance that I can get. I'm not even going to make an estimate on that one, just however many of those I can manage. My B goal, I'm still going to aim pretty high, I think, for my B goal, and I guess I'll say 8 full laps, and again, as many of the quarter mile laps as I can take. That one I'll probably end up taking maybe a couple of longer breaks in between laps at some point, or maybe if you add up the breaks in between, they might add up to be longer. And for my C goal, we'll say 7 total laps and as many of the quarter mile distance as I can. And I think that's fair, and I think it's doable. C, I think, is definitely doable, and I also think B is as well. A might be a stretch, but I think I could get it done. I would hurt at the end of it for sure. I would be in a lot of pain, but I mean, I don't have to go anywhere the next day. So, and that's not to say push yourself and be really stupid about it, but I think I could still do it in the sense of like power walking. I can still do that, continuing to move forward. I can take breaks as needed or even slow down. We'll aim for A, but if we don't get A, we still have B and C goals to go. And that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to film a really quick update. This is probably going to come out before my Twin Cities Marathon weekend update. I was trying to get that out first, but it's been a busy week and it's been kind of a weird week. Hopefully I can get that out before this weekend as well, but we are leaving a little earlier than I thought we were on Friday. Still gonna try to get that video out before this weekend, but we'll see. And I also still need to do the race recap for my 5K. I have videos to film. I also have videos to plan and film and books to read for my booktube. I'm kind of behind. It's been a really weird few weeks, but that's neither here nor there. Right now I need to focus on Saturday. It's been a weird year. I think we can all agree on that. Just as a whole, 2025 has been a year and I'm kind of ready to move on to 2026. But thank you for watching. I will have my Twin Cities Marathon weekend video coming out, my Twin Cities 5K race recap video coming out. I will have a video for my 11-hour event coming out and the race recap for that. And then I also have a booktube channel. You may not be interested in that one because it has nothing to do with running, but I have that one as well. But thank you for joining me. I will see you guys in the next video and I hope you have a great run. Bye.